Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And in this video, we're going to talk spoilers, so we're just putting that warning up front. We are going to dive into our thoughts for the final episode of the Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 12, Victory and Death. If you haven't already, we do have our reaction up. I'll link it somewhere over here and also in the description, so you can go ahead and click on that. And because it is a reaction, I mean, we don't show the whole episode, but there are some key moments that we show. So only watch once you have seen the episode. So we don't want to be responsible for spoiling anything for you.
There are definitely some huge spoiler clips that we have put in there because those are the ones with the big reactions.
Yeah. And I try to add some key moments in there. I wasn't just looking for reactions, but then that would have been the entire episode.
Yeah, pretty much. There was a lot to this episode because on the last episode, we got left at a huge cliffhanger. They're stuck.
We're diving into it now?
Oh, yeah.
Dive into it? Okay, go.
Just dive. Well, I was kind of giving them the last time we were with Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano and Rex, they'd just gotten the chip out of Rex's head. They were trapped inside that little med bay, and all of the clones were going to were going to saw through the doors and arrest and kill them all.
Yeah,
so,
it was not. I don't think they would go as far as arresting her. There's no need to arrest her.
They'd kill her, but they might
execute her. Maybe execute him also for treason for not executing his order to.
Yeah, even though that didn't happen until later in the episode.
Yeah,
so she was dead and he's getting up.
Let's go ahead and get into it. This episode, the way it started with like the vocalization and everything with the music.
Oh.
It really set the tone as to what we were going to be getting in this episode, and we knew that it was going to be, there were going to be tears, it was going to be an emotional roller coaster, but they still managed to add a couple of like little comedic moments in there, which was like a nice little break from all the tension. But yeah, they were basically, we're looking at them being, you know, seeing the med bay doors just about to come down, and I'm like, how are they going to get out of there? They're literally bottlenecked in. Like, there's no way for them to get out. And Ahsoka used her force. And they did. Of course,
I did kind of call that.
I
was kind of like, that's what's going to happen. She's just going to wait as soon as it's done being cut open, whoosh, because anyone in that line is now taken care of.
Yeah, but then they still did have to fight their way out of. You know, it's not just skill that they have. What they don't have on their side is number, and that's what the clone troopers have on their side. And it's a good thing they're all really terrible shots.
That was something that did kind of bug me about this episode and some of the other episodes is that, they couldn't hit anything. I
mean, that's always the joke with stormtroopers, too. They're like, oh, they're terrible shots, and it's kind of like, we can really see it's like, well, yeah, like... You know, maybe by executing Order 66 and the inhibitor chip, like, kind of fried their brain. None of them know how to aim correctly.
Maybe
and that's just the theory, because eventually stormtroopers aren't clones anymore.
Yeah, and also these clone troopers were very loyal to Ahsoka. So maybe the way that Rex was kind of able to push it down or kind of resist it just a little bit, they are deliberately kind of missing.
Yeah.
So they're aiming a little wide. They're not really focusing. So
and again, that's a theory. That's not a fact. That's just what maybe we think is happening on within the clone selves. Moving on from that point, they fight their way out, and they're like, we gotta get out of here. And we kind of see what Maul does, and Maul, definitely was off to causing some chaos. And Sam Witwer had said on Twitter or somewhere, and maybe it was on his Twitch stream, somebody had said it, that he said Maul's hallway scene was not over, essentially. And we see him really sorry about that. And we see him really destroying that hyperdrive. He demolished it.
It's one of those things,
along with the people.
It's one of those things that you're just like, why haven't we seen more force powers like this? I mean, pretty much he brought down an entire Star Destroyer all by himself. He was inside there, just destroyed it from the inside, and was kind of like, peace, I'm out. Yeah,
I mean, now, aside from wanting an Ahsoka spinoff, I more than ever also need a Maul spinoff just to see, you know, the time that we don't see Maul missing from between the end of this episode to the first time we see him in Rebels. So, with the hyperdrive gone, they are now stuck in a moon's gravitational, as Rex said, we're stuck in the moon, that moon's gravitational pull, force field, or force
pull,
and
gravitational pull.
And so, which means that if they don't get out of there, they're going to crash. But the thing is, and this was the most heartbreaking moment, is that Rex is kind of like, I hate to tell you this, but these men would rather die with the ship than...
And take you down with it.
Yeah. And what got me was he said, my brothers. And I'm like, oh no. And Ahsoka pulled his helmet off and he just had the single tear. Just how much it hurts him to know that he still have so much respect and love for his fellow stormtroopers, and he knows that there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
Because of the chip.
And it looked like it really did seem like he was trying to talk himself up a little bit.
Course.
To where he's like, no, they are enemies now. You could tell that he was trying to get himself to be like, no, for my own personal survival, I now need to kill these men. These men were my brothers. They were fighting with me shoulder to shoulder. But you could tell that it was just heartbreaking for him to be like, no, they will kill us. And they will be happy to kill us by sacrificing their own lives.
I really love seeing all the exchanges between Rex and Ahsoka, and it just really showed how close of a bond the two of them really have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what's really like the most touching thing out of these like final 4 episodes. It's kind of, you know, we want to put the spot, or should I say, I want to put the spotlight on Ahsoka because she's my favorite, but the two of them together is just really, like, the chemistry and everything is just really so amazing. After this, Ahsoka comes up with a plan, and she essentially wants to fake surrender and maybe stall for the time to give the droids enough time to tinker with the ship a little bit to help to get them out of the situation, because they could only find one shuttle, and they have a limited amount of time to maybe make it alive into that shuttle and escape before the starship crashes.
And that's where a little bit of the comedic relief came in.
Yeah, with
because
the
you're
droids.
like, what are the droids going to do? They're just fiddling over there at the control panel.
They're gonna drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's
and
hot.
And then all of a sudden, you poof, and all, ah!
That was funny. I needed that moment because it was so tense, and it came right after, you know, like seeing Rex cry. I was like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, chaos.
Chaos. That's a really good way of describing Maul.
Yeah, even more chaos, because that's what happens. So Maul sees the opportunity. He's like, well, I'm going to take you. You're not giving me a fighting chance. So obviously, I gotta
wanted
look after
this chaos.
Yes, and that was the best thing as he hurls stuff at her and he pushes her to the point where she, like, so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So powerful. And, you know, as she's trying to... So it was a big battle between, like, her trying to get back up there, Rex and the droids not getting killed, Maul trying to get the ship to fly out of there. And something I did not expect to see happen was when Ahsoka used the Force to pull the ship back. I was just like, oh my gosh. And I kind of feel the same amount of shock for when Rey pulled in Rise of Skywalker, when she pulled Kylo Ren. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
It was the ship that they thought had Chewie on it.
Right, but before she Force lightning them by accident.
Yeah.
It was kind of the same, where I was like, whoa, there's a discussion maybe I don't want to get into in this video. Maybe another one. So I'll skip my thoughts on that. But sadly, she had to let him go. And it was so heartbreaking because she wanted to survive just as much as Maul did, trying to get them off, but
she needed to help Rex, because Rex was taking fire.
R7 went down trying to help her and just shot and destroyed, and it was just so sad because that's her droid, and she had to let go and find another way out. And as always in wars, there's always casualties, and the casualties, aside from all the Clone Wars that were lost, were the 3 droids. Because I love them so much, because they even got us like, oh, we're on the bottom, let's push all these clone troopers on the top. And, we get a little bit of comic relief, and unfortunately, because they helped Ahsoka Tano, who they see as the enemy, they're like, we gotta, blast these droids, and they did. And it was just so sad, and I wish that they had the time to give the droids a little bit of a send-off, but they couldn't, because in the midst of war... Ahsoka and Rex were trying to survive or die, and why do all of this to go the length of getting the chip out if you can't survive. So it was just, I really just wanted to see a little bit of a tribute to the droids, a little bit more at the end, but I thought
one of the coolest moves, though, that Ahsoka did during this time while they're in that big hallway, she throws down her lightsabers. I'm like, why haven't we seen that more often? Because I'm just like, that is awesome. And they just drop down, and I just... The use of force powers in this episode is just really cool and really powerful.
Yeah, combined with like Maul's hallway scene and some of the stuff that we got to see Ahsoka do, it's phenomenal.
Now, I do think that some parts of this episode, they did jump the shark, so to speak, in a couple of them, because just after this, she's like running on the side of the Star Destroyer while Rex is in the ship trying to catch her.
Oh, yeah. I love that scene.
It's an awesome scene, and you get some of the most beautiful shots of the Star Destroyer falling and the smoke just trailing off of it, and you see the explosions, and you're like sitting there going, well, that was all Maul. That destroyed everything.
Yeah, well, because he took care of the hybrid drive.
Mm-hmm.
But I get what you're saying, because it's kind of like, well, but it's not like we haven't seen Ahsoka do something like that before, because in the previous episode, where she was jumping from ship to ship to ship.
That was so cool.
This was like she leveled up from that.
Yeah,
and
true.
given the situation, I feel like, but I get what you're saying with jumping the shark. So,
but I mean, there's also the fact that they were like, oh, we're entering the planet's atmosphere. And if they're entering the planet's atmosphere, then Ahsoka would probably have burnt up as well.
I mean, that's why she has the
Force. But it's all the Force, But honestly, those are my only
If Leia
qualms.
can survive in space and use the Force to guide her way back to the ship, then Ahsoka can do what she did.
Mm-hmm. But, so they get into the, I think that's a Y-Wing that Rex was, it was a bomber. So she gets back into this spaceship, and they're able to fly away, and then the Star Destroyer just tanks.
With everybody on it.
With everyone. All of those all those clone troopers that had the paint on their face, the fact that she had to kill all of them. And that little speech right before they went out, with all of this, what is it? How did she say it? She was like, I am not the one.
But I am not going to be the one who...
I am not going to be the one that kills them.
Yeah.
So...
My God.
And...
Incredible.
In a sense, she still did. She just had to escape. And it was just when she's standing there in front of all of the graves that she had buried for all of those clones. The music, the atmosphere, the shots that they got were just so powerful. And that music, I have to admit,
the
music, especially at the very beginning and at the very end, it tells an entire story with just the music.
Yeah, there wasn't much.
Get that feeling.
There wasn't much dialogue when we came to the final scene. So after Ahsoka, pays her respect to the fallen stormtroopers, leaves her one lightsaber behind, and her and Rex go off, and we kind of know what happens. I mean, not exactly, but we see them again later on in Rebels. But then Vader comes in, and that was kind of I was hoping we would see it, but I wasn't sure if we were actually going to see it. We did, and I like that right before we saw Vader, we actually got a glimpse of now we know them as the Stormtroopers. Now we see those costumes, and we've done away with the Clone Trooper costumes and or suits, and hearing him breathe and just seeing the dark cloak walk past the screen was so powerful, because that's just for me, it's like full circle. Now we're up to date. We know what's happened. He's become Vader. And this is just, going to the scene where Ahsoka and Rex was last seen. This is his one Padawan, somebody who didn't get to talk to him after they said goodbye before he ran off to save the Chancellor. Yeah. And there's just so much weight on that. Finds her lightsaber. And I think what's an incredible image to me was seeing Darth Vader light up that lightsaber and having it ignite blue. Yeah. Almost kind of like the remnant of the last of Anakin. Was that kind of in that moment. And he, when he ignited, he looked up and there was Morai circling.
The owl.
The owl circling.
And I'm pretty sure that was the owl because, I mean, you didn't get a really good shot of it, but the shadow that was projected onto the ground really...
The silhouette of it looked just like it.
Yeah.
So we're going to say that's what it is. That's what we believe it to be. And it was incredible. He then disengages lightsaber and keeps it.
And walks off.
And walks away, and credits roll, and that is the end of Clone Wars. And I just, I think I sat there and I just needed a minute to gather myself, because it was so much. And while I was editing our reaction, like reliving through those moments, like I kept on crying while editing, which was not good.
It just hits you right here in the chest. I mean, overall, this was an amazing episode. My only little qualms are they had a little jumping up the shark, terrible shots. But also, I wish they would have done one more little timeline connection to Revenge of the Sith.
Which is?
To where like something in Revenge of the Sith was mentioned in Clone Wars, so we can match up the time just a little bit closer.
I wanted them to do...
But it was still good when Darth Vader came out, and you still got to see him at the end there.
Yeah, you're right. I kind of wish they had like a... You know how in episode 11 she felt the Force when, when he killed Mace Windu? I kind of wish there was a moment where she felt it again, where Anakin and Obi-Wan were having a duel, and maybe Anakin yelling,
my brother,
or like, I hate you, or something like that. Like, to hear that and being like, something's really wrong.
That would have been like when she's in the med bay or something, she just gets hit with it. When there's a moment when they're down, when they're, so it just kind of times up so it matches up the timing just a little bit. Even though I think those flashes that she had on the bridge in the previous episode were a little bit late coming to her. I don't think they happened instantaneously.
Oh, I see.
I think because there's a little bit of gap between in Revenge of the Sith to where that moment happens, and Sidious goes and orders Order 66.
Yeah.
So I think those feelings, it took like maybe an hour, it took a little bit more time to actually get to her. Then it just matches up with Sidious calling Order 66.
I think though...
But all theory.
Yes, all theory. I really would have, now that you mentioned, I really would have liked to see just like one more little nod to it. If not that, then... yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe it's a perfect episode. I don't want to take anything away from it. Really, I don't want to keep like, this is just like the fan in me wanting more because I'm greedy. But I think also maybe her not feeling it and not knowing that Anakin had turned to the dark side, or something had happened terribly between Obi-Wan and Anakin, is that Order 66. Maybe she thinks in a way that Anakin was also lost. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
So this would then make a little bit more sense when we see her again in Rebels, where she really is like, I don't know what happened. And so maybe the whole Vader thing can be a little bit more, it is a bit of a surprise to her when she finally realizes that was her master. So yeah. Whew, okay, so that is a very long-winded way of saying those were our thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let us know what you thought of this video. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comment section below. Let us know your favorite moments, some of the moments that you thought it was going to play out a little differently. Just go ahead and list it below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.